Cloud. Okay, so we'll get started in our mountain pose. So we're behind the chair, or not behind the chair. Well, you couldn't do it all standing, I guess. We're in the chair. Sorry, I got a little I think my brain is boiled and I'm not really sure. Whew. So let's come into our mountain pose, like in the chair, or if you want to do some of this standing, you can do most of this standing as well. And we'll close our eyes or take a soft gaze. We'll check in and notice the you that you're bringing to the chair this morning. Who are you bringing to the mat? You know, I've been journaling lately, trying to get like stuff out. And for me, like it's easier to either like vocalize or write it out, and then all these things like pop into my head, or these realizations that don't pop into my head when I'm just trucking around, you know. So for some people, they can sit and notice and be aware. I'm not quite that evolved yet, I guess, or whatever it may be. But so some people can sit and notice and without judging, think about what you're bringing with you this morning. Or if you're in a different time zone, whatever time it is. You can look for physical things, mental things, emotional things. And then if you want to set an intention for this practice, or say an affirmation, or dedicate this practice to someone this morning, you can do that. And then once you do that, we can start to notice the breath. Notice the movement of the breath, maybe what moves on your body as you're breathing and what stays still. Now, typically we tend to breathe all up in our upper chest. As infants, we're born more belly breathing. And then somewhere along the line, I think through anxiety, stress, and other things, we start breathing in the upper chest. So we're never really taking these full breaths. And you can go to all these different modalities and, you know, mainstream doctors, and they will tell you, you know, that deep breathing is effective in reducing stress and, you know, yada, yada, all these different things. And all those things are true. And then yet also the breath carries our life, you know. It's you know, in the beginning it was breath breathed into us. And then, you know, in many different cultures, it is our life. This is our chi, or our you know, it's what animates us. It's the breath. Without the breath, there's nothing left. So we want to start to bring the breath in, longer, deeper inhale, and exhaling as slowly as we possibly can. So it takes a couple breaths to really get like that. So at least for me, initially I'm all upper chest breathing, and then I start to be able to lengthen it and deepen it. We'll try that now. If you have practiced Ujjayi breath, that's the kind of best way to lengthen the breath. And I pulled a muscle last week in my chest. I'm sure how I did it. But then I re-injured it, and I know I did that one. But now I know when I'm taking a real deep breath, I can tell because it hurts. So evidently, most of the time this week, I am not breathing deeply. And then in vinyasa classes, it's done with the breath, and the breath is used to um, it can be used as a timer for the pose, or it can also be, um, help the pose can help facilitate the breath. So we're going to try to move with our breath as much as possible. So let's say on our next exhale, we dip the chin towards the chest. And so if it takes 4 seconds to exhale and dip the chin towards the chest, then use that whole movement during that time. You can hold the breath at the bottom of the exhale briefly if you want, or just start to inhale, bringing the chin up a little bit above neutral and then slightly back. We tend to kind of carry our head forward. I know I do. And then we'll dip the chin again on the exhale. So trying to pull the head back, or being mindful of where the head is in space, being mindful of the breath. In Ayurveda, it's like attracts like, and opposites balance. So if you keep doing more of the same, you're going to get more of the same. And if you try to do the opposite now and then, it can start to balance. So if you've got a really fiery tummy, in Pitta, you might want to eat something that is calming for the digestive system, something cooling. So in summer, very Pitta season, we would avoid things that create more heat. So excessive strenuous exercise, that's my excuse right there. And hot foods. Although I really like a hot coffee on a hot morning during a hot day, I feel it's cooling. But anyway, so the next time we bring the chin towards the chest, we're going to roll the right ear over towards the right shoulder, and lengthening the left side of the neck. So you have a couple of options here. You can run the fingers down the left side of the neck, and giving yourself a little bit of massage. You can also just kind of rock the chin forward and back, making like a quarter of a circle here. You can do all the things together. Although I do find that if we're touching with our fingers, that sometimes it's hard to feel with our neck. And then you can simply just hold. And then we'll dip the chin towards the chest and then roll left ear over towards the left shoulder. And you can massage the side of the neck. You can, rock the head side to or forward and back. It's this time that we're in, when we're not touching people as much. Like I probably counting how many times, and I'm not a huge hugger, but all these times that I would hug somebody, but don't because of this virus stuff going around. And there's fear of setting the other person off, or scaring them. I don't have as much fear about catching anything as I do of upsetting someone else. Come back to center. Take some shoulder rolls to the back. So up, back, and down. So back to the like increases like. So as we age, we start to kind of round through the shoulders, maybe lean forward, which is what I started doing. And we want to kind of counteract that. We want to start doing things that open through the chest and make us sit up a little bit taller or stand a little bit taller. All right, we'll take some wrist rolls here. We can start out on one side, take some wrist rolls all the way up and over. And you know, you might not start out with a big side bend. It's kind of like the breath here, where it's hard to do initially, and then as you start to warm up or get a little bit more settled, you can go bigger. It's believed that, well, that we're encased in all this fascia, and the fascia kind of grows at night, and then we have to kind of break it open in the morning here. So we'll come bring our hands to the heart. It's like a kind of a spider web that grows when things are still. And some of it, you know, hardens. We're all encased in it. We gently, through massage and through asana and different activities, we start to work it free again. So inhale, both hands up. We're going to push the ceiling away, get really, really, really tall through the spine. You can even hold here for a moment, and then exhale and fold. We're going to inhale to a halfway lift, scooping the sternum, shoulder blades down your back, chest leads here, and then exhale again and fold. Sweep the arms up, come all the way up to a seated position. Arms overhead, getting up tall again, and exhale, bring the hands to the heart. And then we'll go back to the wrist rolls. Now this fascia also kind of dissolves in heat as well. So you might find that you're maybe a little bit more flexible in this heat. Probably slightly more uncomfortable. Sweep the arms up. Inhale, push the ceiling away. Exhale and fold. Inhale up to a halfway lift. Scooping the sternum, flat back. Exhale again and fold. Sweep both arms up on the inhale, come all the way up. And then we're going to exhale and twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands to the heart. Wrist roll. Exhaling, coming back down. Switching sides. Sweep both arms up. Push the ceiling away and fold. Inhale to a halfway lift or flat back. Exhale again and fold. Sweep both arms up, come all the way up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. And we're going to exhale, bring that right knee up. Keeping the chest lifted, the knee squeezed in towards the chest, and we can take some ankle rolls here. You know, I've done some things this morning, got Jared ready, fed the dogs, did the chickens, all that stuff, switch directions. But there's certain movements that you just don't make, like ankle rolls, you know, unless it's part of some kind of practice that you have. Sweep both arms up. Exhale, lift the left knee, give it a squeeze, ankle roll on this side. And then switch directions. And then inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring them back to the heart. Wrist roll. Switching sides. Sweep both arms up. Push the ceiling away. Exhale and fold. Inhale to a halfway lift or flat back. Exhale again and fold. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right knee up. Just give it a brief squeeze. Inhale, extend the right leg. Foot is flexed. Heel comes down. So the right foot stays flexed. The leg is straight as it can go. If you tend to hyperextend in the knee joint, then maybe a soft bend in the knee, and that does nothing wrong with that. You can still feel the quite a hamstring stretch with a bend in that right knee. And then we'll come back to center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, left knee comes up. Give it a squeeze. Inhale, extend. Left foot is flexed. Lower that down. So foot is flexed. Knee can have a micro bend. You can hinge forward if that's comfortable. Get a stretch back there. We'll work on the hamstrings again in a little bit. And then we'll sweep the arms up on the inhale. Bring that left knee back. Exhale, hands to the heart. Sitting up tall here, we're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, right elbow to left knee. Inhale back to center. Left elbow, right knee. Inhale, center. We're going to do 3 more on each side. Exhale, right elbow, left knee. Exhale, left elbow, right knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Last one on each side. Exhale, right elbow, left knee. Hold here. Maybe reach your arms open. So like you're going to give a big hug to someone coming from the left side of the room. Bring your hands back to prayer on the exhale. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left elbow, right knee. Inhale, open the arms. Take a couple breaths here. Exhale, the hands come to center. Inhale, back up to our neutral position. Good. We're going to turn towards the right. And you're going to scooch back so that your right thigh is supported by the chair. The left leg is going to come back. So as back as you are comfortable. So, and we're going to have the sensation that we could lift up. We could lift right out of the chair. We'll inhale, both arms up. So this is a lunge. Now, if your leg doesn't come back that far, totally cool. It can be here. Doesn't have to be back here. Actually, I brought my leg further back because the chair was hitting me in the thigh. We'll bring the arms up. The hands are spiraling in, so like you're holding a beach ball, or you can even spiral them in so much that the pinky fingers are facing each other. The belly is engaged, so we're not really arching the low back. We're kind of keeping it fairly neutral. This is a big stretch for that hip flexor on the left side. Also works the arms. Shoulder blades are down the back. And still breathing. Taking just 2 more breaths here on this side. And on the next exhale, we lower the arms, bring that right leg, our left leg back to center, and then we'll come back to our mountain pose. It's interesting to notice how different each side feels. Maybe it doesn't feel very different. And check in with that. We'll turn towards the left now. The left leg is supported by the chair. The right leg comes back to whatever is comfortable for you. Belly is engaged. Arms can rise. Taking just a few breaths here on this side. Arms are strong. Imagine you're holding a heavy medicine ball over your head or something else quite heavy. So you don't want to drop it. So we're not limp noodle arms here. Or think of a basket of not even fresh eggs here. So you don't want to drop a basket of eggs on your head. Inhale one last time. Exhale, lower the hands. Bring your right leg back to meet the left and come back into your mountain pose in the chair. So feet are flat on the floor. We're going to now tone the hamstrings. We're going to pull our heels back towards our body without actually moving them. So it's an isometric movement. I have to kind of lean back in my chair because when I pull, my chair wants to slingshot me out. So you can lean back a little bit and we're pulling our heels towards us. And then soften. Take a little break here. You can also open through the heart if you are holding onto the back of the chair. Do a little heart opener action here. We'll soften the heart and we'll pull the heels back. This one in bridge pose. So if you're laying down on your back and your feet are on the floor and you're pulling your heels back, that is an intense hamstring strengthener. And now we'll soften and open through the heart. My watch is going off. Okay, last time, pull the heels back, soften through the chest, but pull the heels back towards the body. And again, soften, and last time, opening through the heart. Shoulder blades roll towards each other. Shoulders roll back. You can even tilt the head back slightly, keeping the back of the neck long. So we're not crunching anything. We're not cutting off any circulation back there. We're still keeping it long. And then we'll soften. Shake the arms out, take some shoulder rolls. And we're going to take the knees very wide. And arms in goddess arms. So they are, hopefully you can kind of see your arms in the camera here a little bit. And then you can notice that they're not making a W. They're making kind of right angles here. So our arms are strong. We're going to inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to bring the right elbow towards the right knee. So it's a side bend. Inhale back to center. So, and it doesn't have to be necessarily directly to that knee. So you don't have to come forward. You can come directly to the side. And then back to center. And tilt to the right. And back to center. Now, if your torso, your abs get tired, you can use your arms for support. One more each side. And last one to the left. And back up. Woo, probably can feel that in your arms. Shake them out, shoulder roll. And we'll rock to stand here. So I just noticed, I can see, I look like, got like a chicken leg situation going on here. My legs are pointed out all over the place. And then all the way up. Okay, do some balance posture here. We will have the chair on our left side. And we're going to shift our weight onto the left foot, and we'll bring our right knee and right toes pointing out to the right. So it can be here, it can be in, it can be up, your choice. And we're stepping down into that left foot. You're not pressing into the joint anywhere. Woo! So my friend Christine has been saying that if you believe in this stuff, and I am not, I think the planets do influence us, just gravitation, stuff like that. I'm sure there's more to it than we realize. But my balance is completely messed up. So there's all these planets in retrograde. There was a full moon and a lunar eclipse and all these different things happening. So as I won't like rob a bank and blame it on, you know, Mercury in retrograde or something like that, but I do believe that it does affect our balance and probably some mood. I mean, I don't see how it can't. If the moon can affect the waves of the tide, I'm assuming it can probably affect us a little bit. And now we'll lower that right foot and march it out. You can move the chair over onto the right side. And then shifting our weight onto the right foot, the left knee points out to the left, in or up here, and take our variation on this side. We did start on what's usually the harder side. And where you focus on definitely helps. I feel like a cautionary tale here. This is what not to do. I'm like falling all over the place. Take just 3 more breaths here on this side. And lower that left foot down, march it out. Okay, we're gonna do another balance practice here. So your right hand is on the chair. You're gonna lift up the right knee. You can hold it here. And then the option is to lean forward, bring the right leg back, tap the toe down behind you. So I'll do it here facing the chair so you can see me from the side. So right knee comes up, lean forward, foot comes back, tap that foot down. So you have the option of tapping the foot down or leaving it lifted. We want to keep the hips square though. So square hips is not where square hips are here, where the sacrum is level, not opened up to the side here. So we'll do it just a couple times. Do it at your own pace. You bring the right knee up and then step back. You can tap it down. You can lean forward. You can try to release the chair. This is kind of a warrior 3, or use the chair for balance. You can even take your left hand to your sacrum to notice that it's flat. Now, if you wouldn't take a teacup and put it on there, then you're probably not flat. So you can hold, or you can come back to center for another one. Can be quite a big pull on the back of that standing leg. And we'll come back to center. When you're ready, we'll switch sides. Take your chair over onto the left. Bring your weight to your right foot. Left knee comes up. Same thing. Bring that left leg back. You can tap it down or lift, keeping that sacrum flat. It's tricky. It's a lot harder than you would think. You would think it's flat, and then if you feel it, you realize it's not. What the action is of your thighs is an inward rotation. So it's like your inner thigh is rolling up towards the ceiling. So the left knee comes up. And then when you're ready, come back to a standing position. Everybody's doing great. Super, super. Now bring the chair back to its normal spot here, and we will do our gratitude. So you can go back to goddess variation of the legs. You can do chair pose, anything you'd like. You can sit in the chair and squeeze your glutes, and we'll take a variation. Ever you may want here. You can also do a mudra with your hands, depending on what you're looking for. You can add an extra layer of challenge by closing your eyes. And then if you can call into your mind something that you're grateful for. Or I challenge you to take something that you want to complain about and find the positive. So maybe you want to complain about the heat, and now you got to think, well, it's not snowing. It's not storming, you know, I don't need special tires to drive anywhere right now. We want to complain about quarantining or different things like that. Maybe you think about how lucky you are to have a roof over your head. How we have electronics that still keeps us, connected. Or the fact that it is summer and we can go out and see people at a safe distance. And now we'll come all the way down into our chair. Whew. Good. So we'll move right into the legs here. We're going to cross at the knee or ankle, your choice. And my legs are so sticky, I actually have to pick them up and move them. We're going to squeeze everything towards the midline. So this is kind of our eagle pose. So I actually have my right knee over my left. I did not give you a cue for that. So do either one that you want. And then we're going to take and give ourselves a hug. So you can be here with this hug variation, or you can try to move the forearms towards each other. They can even intertwine. And if they can't, so say if your hands are here and you can't get them closer, you hold this position. You hold them as close as you possibly can. And we're squeezing the legs together. Some people can do the double bind. I can do it, but it's forcing things. So, if you have to struggle to do it, I don't think it's worth it. We're going to inhale, open up through the arms, through the chest here. We're raising the arms, squeezing the legs together still, hugging everything in towards the midline. And then on the exhale, bring your elbows towards your knees. Inhale, elbows, hands raised, come up high as you can. Exhale, elbows to the knees. Last one, inhale, the arms come up, elbows come up, open up, arms wide, uncross the legs, sit a moment. And hopefully you remember which arm was on the bottom and which leg was crossed over which here. And then we'll cross the legs, opposite of how we had it last time. And they're squeezing in. So they can be ankle to ankle, they can be knee to knee, however you want to do it, but everything is squeezing in. So if you're crossed at the ankle, the knees are still squeezing in. So you're using your adductors, your inner thigh muscles. And then we'll give ourselves a hug again, this time on the other side. So the other arm is on top. You can be here, or you start to intertwine, kind of twist your arms around each other, whatever works for you. So it might work on one side and not on the other, and that's okay. We can bring the elbows up. Exhale, elbows to knees. Then inhale up. Exhale, elbows to knees. Last time, inhaling the arms all the way up. Unravel, unhug, open up wide, undo the legs. Come back to your mountain pose. So just kind of scooch to the end of our chair, and we're going to press our hands down into our thighs. So almost like you're trying to lift your rib cage. Maybe you can feel your core engaging by pressing down into your thighs. Very active press. And we're going to try to deep breathe or fully breathe still. So try not to hold your breath. Very, very tempting. So you're actively pushing down into your thighs. You may be able to feel your core engage. And if you can release one hand, you might be able to reach with the other hand and notice and feel your stomach engaged. And now soften and release. Notice how much effort that took. We're going to tilt the pelvis back and then tilt the pelvis forward. Tilt it back and tilt it forward. And see if you can initiate this movement, these movements, with your actual core muscles. So exhaling, you're drawing your belly button back. Inhaling, pulls your hips or your pelvis forward. And then we'll circle. And switch directions. Okay, and we're going to work a little bit in the hips here. So if you have an ottoman or something you can set your feet on, that works great. If not, totally fine, don't need it. And we're going to cross one ankle over the opposite knee. So you can be here or ankle to ankle. Now, if you're ankle to ankle and you have the ottoman, you can let your, sit back. If you're, because you don't want to be on the edge of your chair because you just wipe out a little bit. So we're opening up through the hips here. Now, if you have the ottoman and you want to cross at the ankle or ankle over knee, this is kind of figure four, kind of like pigeon. And if you want to intensify this, you can lean forward. Another option is to put your other foot on top of that ottoman. Let me have it just right here. And then you can lean forward there. This is much, much, much more intense. Now, not required, but you can use things in your environment to kind of intensify your pose if you want. If it's too much, don't do it. So maybe also if you have that ottoman and you're working on, say, this left leg here, you flex your foot, put it on your ottoman or block or chair or whatever, and roll that knee out to the side. So there's lots and lots and lots of options. We're not symmetrical. It's not the same on both sides. So play around. Look to go to the same intensity, not the same look. Some of the, I think someone poked a hole in my ottoman. Oh, I got little, the little stuffing is popping out the side. Take just a few more breaths here. And then we can cross at the ankle or the knee and we'll twist to the right. And you can actually hold on to your abdomen here and as you're twisting, so you can feel it twist without actually pulling yourself around. Come back to center, twist to the other side. And then untwist. Okay, so we're gonna switch sides. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. A similar thing on the other side. So you find whatever variation works for you. So you can go to the intensity here that is comfortable, something you can sit with. So one of my teachers would often say that you go to whatever point that you can, it may be uncomfortable, but you can sit with it. And I think kind of along the lines of, you feel a sensation that isn't, shouldn't cause pain or shouldn't cause gripping. Because if you're gripping in your jaw, there's something wrong. Unless you're gripping in your jaw because you're concentrating. And in that case, you know, we still want to ease up on that. It's kind of funny giving riding lessons to little kids. I get to see all kinds of like expressions of people. The kids are a little bit more obvious. The adults are usually farther away from me, so it's harder to see. But I mean, kids that I can read, you know, from 10 feet away, I can tell exactly that they're really concentrating, because you know, a lot of them, their tongues are out, which is not really safe. But it's kind of funny. Like, you're concentrating, your tongue's like this. When I concentrate, actually my mouth is open. I've seen that in a lot of pictures. Not flapping, but open. And then we'll cross here at the knee or ankle and twist to the right. And you can use your hands on your core to notice your core turning, but not actually pulling yourself around. And then twist to the other side. It's kind of funny in this age where there's so many pictures and so many like instant feedback of things that you're doing, because you know, you see it online, or you see it, you know, in pictures or videos that people are taking, and you're like, really, I do that? Which is good. Untwist. You can have it be a benefit where you're like, okay, I really don't like that I'm doing this, or oh, no wonder this hurts, because you know, I'm always leaning or doing whatever. And you can kind of work on it. What you don't notice, you can't work on. But it's I don't know, I find it interesting to kind of see what's maybe other people are seeing. And we're going to tap here. So tap the pinky finger side of the hand. You know, in your mind, you look one way, and then you see on camera or in pictures or in video, you're like, I didn't realize I lean forward when I do this, or that I arch my back, and no wonder my back hurts. And then the heels of the hands. I was reading something last night about how distorted, it's actually a mental condition, how distorted because there's so many selfies and people with these filters that our self and what we think people look like is distorted, because people don't look like you do in a filter. And then the bottoms of the thumbs. You know, even Zoom has an option to improve your appearance. Yeah, really. I think it automatically comes on and you have to toggle it if you don't want it. I think it helps with lighting and whatnot. And then the palm, and we're gonna punch into the palm. You know, so you see these images of other people and they have no wrinkles, and, you know, everything looks perfect, and that's like not what anybody looks like. Not in real life. So stand by. I'm sure it'll be in the DSM manual here of mental illnesses, some kind of selfie problem. We're gonna switch. Or that moment when you turn on your camera on your phone and it's pointed back at you, that's a problem too. It's never a good angle either, because you're always looking down at it and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize I had so many chins. Do I really look like that? My neck and my face is all one thing. The goods and the bads of technology. And then the backs of the hands. And switch. Okay, and now we'll interlace the fingers and tap in between here. So here is your challenge for the day: to take a deep breath every time, let's see, every time, well, maybe you think of when you're gonna do it. So maybe it's a deep breath every time you scroll through Facebook. That would be mine. I would be deep breathing half the day. Or every time your phone rings or you get a text message, take a deep breath. Hold and switch. Or maybe even just notice your breath at that point. So that's your challenge. And then report back. Let me know how it goes. So I'm going to take a deep breath every time I have a kind of negative thought or cranky thought or something like that. So I should, you know, you'll see me passed out because I'll be hyperventilating, right? And now the thumb and forefinger, the webbing here. According to my friend, with all that stuff going on with these planets and lunar eclipses and things like that, it's caused people to be very crabby. Of course, the heat doesn't help, right? So. And then we'll switch. Yesterday, I had a very mini meltdown because my husband moved the seat of my truck. He took it, he went 2 miles in it, 2 miles, mile to the farm, mile back, 2 miles tops, and adjusted the seat. And it was perfect before that. It was just how I wanted it. So I was like grumbling all the way to the farm about how he moved the seat, doing something for me, mind you. So anyway, I think it's important to notice those times where you have these meltdowns, and if you kind of can look at them for what they are and not beat yourself up, but kind of find some humor in it. Anyway, we're going to take our hands, we're going to place them on a body part or body parts that challenges us today. And you're sending that part some love, energy, awareness, that prana, that breath that we've been doing. Acceptance, acknowledgement. And then we'll very slowly remove our hands and place them in our lap and move your seat bones back into the chair. Maybe you rest your back against the back of the chair. Something comfortable. And allow your eyes to close or stay closed. And check in. Again, notice what is in the chair now from when you started. Maybe you don't notice much of a change, but maybe you notice the breath. Maybe there's changes there. If I can get out of my head for even a moment in a yoga practice, no matter what I've brought with me to start the practice, I always feel better afterwards. Unless I refuse to actually participate I might be physically doing it, but mentally I'm somewhere completely different. Those are the only times where I don't feel better after a practice. Or even just better in a positive way. Different. And we'll bring our hands to our hearts. And we'll thank ourselves for showing up, being present, practicing together this morning. May we all feel loved, grateful, and connected. And may we have the strength and courage to overcome all obstacles before us. From my heart to your heart, peace and namaste. And you can unmute yourself.